Rain poured heavily against the windshield as the car sputtered to its final breath, stalling on the deserted countryside road. The forest loomed tall and suffocating on either side, shadows twisting with the storm. He grabbed a flashlight, its weak beam trembling across the mist. Cold air clouded his breath. Then, on the fogged car window, words slowly appeared as though drawn by unseen fingers. Run. Panic gripped his chest as he stumbled toward the only shelter in sight, a rotting cabin at the forest's edge. The wooden door hung half open, creaking with every push of the wind. He stepped inside, floorboards shrieking beneath his boots. Dust swirled through the beam of his light. Broken windows gaped like open wounds. Crooked portraits lined the walls, each face violently scratched out. Their eyes gouged so deeply the glass frames had cracked. The air was stagnant, suffused with the smell of rot. In the corner, a rocking chair swayed on its own, the rhythm too slow, too deliberate. A porcelain doll sat on the chair, its cracked face twisted, head turned completely backward. The faintest sound of laughter, childlike, broken, echoed. But the room was empty. A narrow hallway stretched ahead. Shattered mirrors lined both sides, shards catching the dim light. He glanced at his reflection, only to freeze. The reflections didn't move when he did. One reflection smiled, a grotesque, wide grin, while his real lips trembled in silence. At the far end of the hallway, a faint red glow pulsed like a dying ember. The kitchen reeked of rust and mildew. Water dripped from a corroded faucet in a maddening rhythm. Plates lay smashed across the floor as if thrown in fury. Shadows stretched unnaturally along the walls, bending, reaching, pulsing closer. Whispering voices rose from nowhere and everywhere at once, circling him like a storm of breath. He climbed the stairs, each step heavier than the last. In a bedroom, the sheets were soaked with dark stains that smelled of iron. Bloody handprints smeared across the ceiling, clawing upward as if someone had tried to escape through the plaster itself. Curtains swayed though the air was still, and the wardrobe groaned open, revealing nothing but suffocating blackness. On a dusty table, an old radio hissed with static. He reached for the dial, but before he could touch it, a distorted voice slithered through the noise. It whispered his name, drawn out, mocking. Then came a low, guttural laugh that rattled through the wooden beams of the house. The dial turned by itself, scanning through empty channels filled only with distant, tortured screams. The attic door above slammed open with a deafening crack. Darkness leaked from the gap like smoke. Pale, bony hands stretched out of the void, dozens of them, grabbing at the air. Wooden beams groaned as though something massive crawled above, shifting its weight across the rafters. The hands withdrew when his light passed over them, but the dragging sounds continued, circling him from above. The flashlight flickered violently. At the far end of the hall stood a figure, himself. Same clothes, same face. But the eyes glowed faintly, and the mouth stretched in a grin too wide for human flesh. The light blinked out. When it returned, the doppelganger was closer. Again, it blinked. Closer still, heart pounding. He stumbled down to the basement. The air grew colder, each breath a cloud of frost. The shelves were lined with jars filled with a thick, black liquid. He raised the light and froze. Inside one jar floated a human eye, and it blinked. A heartbeat boomed in the silence, steady, powerful, but it wasn't his own. The basement door slammed shut behind him, the lock twisting on its own. The pounding began, not from the door, but from the walls themselves. Whispers crawled through the darkness, layered and endless. You are ours now. Scratches carved themselves into the walls, letters gouged deep, bleeding dust and splinters. In the far corner, a shadow began to rise. It stretched taller and taller until it reached the ceiling, spreading across the walls like ink. Teeth glowed in the dark, long and jagged, a smile made of hunger. Its heavy breathing shook the shelves, rattling the jars. The flashlight died, but no sound came out. His voice had been stolen. Static filled his vision. His body felt weightless, collapsing into nothing.